Hey everybody, Sarah here. So today we are going to be doing a redo of the Morph Deep Dive for the Golden Cornsnake mutation. This was actually the very first Morph Deep Dive that I did on my channel, and that was years ago, and I didn't really have all of the technology that I have now, and the availability to put photos on the screen and everything like that, so I wanted to redo this with photos so that you guys would have a better idea of what the Golden mutation actually is. Please remember to subscribe and like and watch more videos because those things really help out the channel. And my whole point here is educating people on corn snakes, everything corn snake, from care to morphs to breeding to everything in between. And the more people we have in this community, the better it is for everybody. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. And if you haven't, please do so. I also want to thank all of our members on this channel. They help make everything possible as well. We currently only have one tier that gives you access to live Q&As after the live is over, and you also get your own video every single week. I will record at least something every week just for members only. We are working on getting a second tier. It's just not quite ready yet, but don't worry, I'll let you know when it is. Also, a quick thank you to Reptilinks for helping to support this channel. If you would like to try this alternative food source for your snakes, you can use my code SarahSnake27 at checkout. It gets you a discount, and it also gets me a percentage, so everybody wins. I also have a website, sarahsnakeshop.com, where I have snakes available, of course, as well as some merch, but most importantly, I have corn snake morph books available. For anybody who is wanting an introduction to corn snake morphs, my books are written specifically for that in mind, and so you can check those out as well. On to the meat and potatoes of this video. We're talking about the Golden mutation in corn snakes. Golden is probably one of the rarest corn snake mutations in the hobby. It's probably not the rarest at this point since we just got Black Diamond. However, there are at least 4 known Black Diamonds in the world, and there's probably fewer known Goldens than that. So it could be that Goldens are even more rare than the newest mutation, Black Diamond, which I did a video on a couple months ago. Golden corn snakes look a bit like caramels. A lot of people thought they might just be a wild form of caramel originally. However, it has been proven to be different from the original caramel mutation. So we have 2 sort of caramel looking mutations now, the original caramel, and we now have golden. This is very similar to the difference between charcoal and anerythristic type A. Yes, they are both anerythristic types, but they are not genetically compatible, which means if you breed a charcoal to an anery type A, you will get all normals that carry both mutations. And so it's the same thing with caramel and goldens. If you breed a caramel to a golden, you will just get normals that carry both mutations. So the original golden was actually a wild-caught female that was caught by Karsten Zoldi, also known as Z in the hobby, back in 2005. And he also caught a male from the same area to breed them together and see if this was inheritable or not. A baby from that clutch was then bred back to the mom, and it turns out, yes, it was proven to be recessive, just a simple recessive mutation like we have with the majority of corn snake morphs. So yeah, that was almost 20 years ago. 20 years have gone by and we still only have a very small handful of known Goldens. And that's because Goldens have had a really rough time over the course of their existence. They've had pretty much every problem up until this point to try to get them going. There's been fertility issues, there's been snakes that don't hatch out of the egg, like they die in egg, or they die shortly after hatching. Some of the adults don't really make it through brumation very well from what I understand. And so we're just still trying to figure out how to get this project off the ground. When Karsten decided to get out of corn snakes, he sent this project eventually over to Joe Pierce. I don't think it was a direct from Karsten to Joe, but Joe Pierce was the one who ended up with the Golden Project, and Joe Pierce still has the largest number of visual Goldens that we know of. Back in 2016, Joe Pierce did have some successful breedings, breeding a het Golden to caramel, and that is when we found out that Golden and caramel are not compatible with each other. Back around that same time, Joe Pierce also produced some visuals with the project that he had, and so he had 2 males and 1 female at the time. It is my belief that now only 1 female remains in his collection that is visual. Since then, bits and pieces of the project have kind of been moved around. They belonged to Wind Serpents for a little while. At least some of the ones from the Het Golden to Caramel pairing went to Wind Serpents. She had it for a short period of time, and then I got some of them, and then I had most of them for a shorter period of time, and at the time was unfortunately not able to keep them. So I sold them to Dawn Soderbergh, who ended up sending them to Travis Whistler Reptiles. And in 2020, Travis Whistler finally produced some more visual Goldens. We aren't sure exactly how many because they don't really post photos of them very often. They don't talk about them very often, but I know that there's at least one, but I believe there's probably 2 or more in there. So as far as I know, there's maybe only 3 visual known Goldens at this point in time. The part of the project that I kept, I still have, and they breed, and they do produce babies that might or might not be golden, but I, of course, have had very similar issues with these Goldens as other people have had. Either there's fertility problems, or females have problems laying eggs, or the eggs aren't fertile, again, that's the fertility problems, or the eggs just don't make it to hatching, or if they do, sometimes there's deformities, or even if there's not deformities, sometimes the babies will not live past a couple of months, whether it's because they won't eat, or they just had something internally wrong with them that just caused them a failure to thrive type of situation. That is pretty much where this project sits right now. Joe Pierce, I know, has 1 visual female and possibly some other hets and or possible hets. Travis Whistler has at least 2 hets and at least 1 visual, but I'm unsure of how many others he might have. And I currently have a handful of normals that are Het Golden and another handful of normals that are possibly Het Golden. Of course, the males are known Het Golden because they came directly from Joe Pierce and they are the sons of the visual female that he has. And the females that I have are all possible Het Golden from a Het Golden to a Lava. So I have this weird mix of a bunch of females that are possible Het and a bunch of males that are not ready to breed yet that are definitely Het. But we'll see what we get within the next few years. I do have 1 male that hatched in 2020, and he is just on the cusp of being big enough to breed, and so I'm going to try to breed him this year. We'll see what happens. I have, of course, hatched a few possible Goldens since I have had this project, but none of them have been able to make it to adulthood, unfortunately, to breed them. And that kind of brings me to another subject of some morphs just have problems, and I'm not really sure of the moral implications of continuing to breed those morphs. For many of you who might know, Lavender used to have a big issue with having kinks and having other spinal deformities and bone deformities, but that has pretty much been bred out. So I think that it's still worth it personally to do what we can to get as many visual Goldens as possible, and then we can outcross them later on. I would really love for this mutation to continue in the hobby, and I think that a lot of people would like that as well. Not that a lot of people are flocking to them because we already have a caramel looking mutation. Not too many people are, running to go get another caramel looking mutation, but it's been around for almost 20 years and we still only have a tiny handful of visuals, and so I think it would be really, really neat to actually get this project going and off the ground, and I'm really, really happy to be a part of it. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, remember to subscribe, watch another video, whatever you can. This channel is here to help you, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will put them in a future Q&A. See you guys in the next video soon. Thanks for watching.